Let's see who shows up, guys. What the hell is going on? I gotta get my other laptop going, so I'll be able to see your comments very easily. And tomorrow I will hook up my new monitor to have this a little more professional, or shall I say a little less unprofessional, because I am really, really interested in a few things that I'm searching right now. I'm getting amazing information, but I'm not getting it as fast as I would like to have it. But I wanted to make sure that even though I am not where I want to be information-wise, I'm getting out there what I do have. This is pretty important. And I will wait a little bit for more people to show up and say hi to some of you who are here. Simply because I don't want you to get sidetracked. Hey, Diesel, house music, Sandra, nice to see you guys. I will wait a little bit, okay? I want to make sure enough people see what I'm going to show you. And my lives will happen whenever I realize, I have the need to share something. Usually that's a time where I'm ready to move on to new and deeper subjects. And the pipeline is my focus right now, my main focus. Anything pipeline. Because remember, Daniel told us in the very beginning, there is hardly any evidence. Chris Proudfoot said there's no evidence whatsoever. Daniel said hardly any evidence. So I believe that he picked up some major evidence at the pipeline. And here's another reason. And we're going to get to this. I think they wanted as many people as possible close to the pipeline. Remember what Janie told us? I will show you in a minute. The ATV tracks they wanted to dilute. I'll wait a little bit, man. I want to make sure. Hi, guys. Okay, those of you who are already here, let's hear something. This is a Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot interview. Hi, Julius. I've forgotten. So, that's right. So, whenever you are somewhere where there's a chat and somebody says something that you want to respond to but don't know how to respond to, or if it's some real stupid and you figure that no matter what you say is not going to be as stupid and either, you know, like this Mariska chick there at the idiot station where she's like, Janie, we are with you. Janie, I know Janie, we love you. Janie. You know what? Don't respect people like that. Respect needs to be earned, in my opinion, right? And the more I see how people insert themselves into a case and make it all about them getting attention for themselves. And self-importance is, I think, one of the biggest enemies of, any real discussion. And of course, even in mainstream media, that is how they get people engaged, right? No matter how stupid it is what people say, they say, oh, well, that's your truth. Oh, interesting. But we cannot do this. We don't have this kind of convenience when it comes to true crime and in actually analyzing a case. We need to look at things as they are. Kim. Hi, Kim. I'm happy to have you here. And I think I will stick to my channel only. I don't want to reply anywhere, be anywhere. I realize that I get a headache from theories and theorizing because I have to stick with what is the statements that I'm getting. listen to the people who were there and have knowledge. And I want to make it very clear. The term opinions, I was actually, you know what, I'm going to get rid of what I have back there. I have plaids, I have my tagline. So I think I'm going to actually change that, even though for branding purposes, it's no, it's actually not good for branding purposes because it looks shitty. But to me, it means something because it shows how I felt the day that I put it up and felt the need to find better ways to let people know how we can approach analyzing something that is new to us. Now, mind you, let's say there's a brand new case tomorrow. We have no idea who did what. Let's say a boy is missing, has been missing for 2 days. Mother and stepfather stand there. Now, we cannot assume they probably did it, even though there's something about them that really irks us, right? And I've seen several cases where, of course, when I saw, okay, there is a 12-year-old girl missing, and I see stepfather and mother on the couch, and I don't care what any of these instructors, these half-ass instructors say when they say, no, you cannot pay attention. No, I don't have tunnel vision. So I recognize something about the demeanor of the stepfather irks me immediately. Let's look at his statements. Even if he only said 2 lines, even if mother said 20 lines, he said only 2. I will examine them. And I will spend a lot of time on only 2 sentences because I believe that he has more guilty knowledge than the mother, who in that case covered up his crime. And he violated her, as it turned out later. So I didn't know any of this, but when I saw him and saw his demeanor, something about it immediately, but I always go back to the statements. So theorizing is also not, theorizing, I like to call it not theories, but possibilities. We have stronger possibilities and we have kind of possibilities, which I outlined to you guys in a recent live where I showed you the power lines go into the Fundy Basin. And yes, it is within the realm of the possibilities, but it's much more likely he went up north because the Fundy Basin would have taken, what, hour and a half? He would have had to get gas. Does he know anybody down there? Well, he knows people up in New Glasgow, as it turned out to be, right? And I'm going to look now more into the properties of the sorry guys, I keep looking at the chat. Hi guys. Listen, I'm going to look more into the properties of Earl. And apparently there's also a property that Justin co-owns up north. I think it's with some lady, but she has a new guy in her Facebook profile picture. But there are quite a few properties owned by the Geddeses, as in Darren and Jordan Geddes, and a lot of Mackenzie properties, a lot of them. Now, I believe all of them are somehow probably distantly related. And that's not my main focus, but all of these extended possibilities have to be ever present in my life when I'm looking at a case. It means that I cannot close. That's the problem I have with theorizing. When you say, well, this is my theory, I stick with it. And people who theorize, they don't learn too much because they will argue their theories, right? I'm looking at possibilities. I give them in my mind a grade. Well, this is an 8 out of 10 possibility. This is like maybe a 3. This could be, this is a 1. It's very close to 0, but it is not 0. So I gotta keep it somewhere out there. I cannot dismiss it, but I am safe. I feel safe when it comes to disregarding. And we will solve this case, guys. We will. Make no mistake. And I believe the smoking gun will probably be delivered by one of you. Out of nowhere, unexpectedly. My job is to keep us on track. And the track that leads us there, guys. That track is what we need to stay on. Because without the track, nothing is going to happen, guys. Hi, Krista. 37. What the hell is that? Nobody's up? Is there another live going? What's happening, people? All right, let me play you something real quick. And then I'll tell you exactly why. Oh, I'm missing the messages. Something is stuck, right? What the hell? Oh. Well, then I'll wait a little bit. Oh, it's the Criming Shameson. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Jeez, I hope that channel gets. Oh my God. You know what? No, I rather prefer to talk to people who know, who want to be here. Right? I actually don't like it when a lot of the people, when they let other channels confuse them and then they come back. Lots of lives on. Here, well, I like the people who don't look at this as an option because I don't watch anything else. Because I listen to So, should I wait a little bit? This is scary, man. No, but I'm not playing my... Jesus Christ. Okay, let's see.
And I went to bed around midnight. Everything seemed fine.
This is Chris and Katie Proudfoot on an earlier interview. And mind you, that was, I think, a couple of weeks after Sebastian Rogers had disappeared. A couple of weeks. So, these guys are being interviewed. And I was waiting to get an example, a similar one of from Scott Peterson. I haven't gotten it in time. It matters none, because I will add that later. But how would you feel if, let's say, wait, let me go to YouTube and see if I can find real quick. Scott Peterson gets phone call during interview. Sometimes I'm lucky and this is kind of crap. I want to get this now.
Running hurts.
Oh, geez. Give me 1 second, guys. Yikes. I don't see it. It's a video where Scott Peterson receives a phone call during an interview. I will wait a little bit, guys, till more people come. Seriously, they're using my material on other channels and they're watching that one. Okay, I will wait. I will make sure. Give me 1 second. I need to look at something. Because there's a very important interview with Scott Peterson in which he receives a phone call during the interview. That is something that I really wanted to share with you guys, because then I'm going to highlight what happened when Janie got a call from Malaya. This is a very important aspect.
I think people. And I'll just answer that question again.
Okay, I think this is it. Wait.
Somewhere here.
Oh yeah, baby. This is a sweet one. I hope it gets to it very quickly. Mind you, Scott Peterson, his wife Lacey, 8 months pregnant, was missing at the time. He started becoming a suspect, right? At first, his wife's family was all on his side. And I mean, they were on his side for such a very, very long time, guys. Surprisingly, right? They didn't want to believe that he was involved. And, to think that, for the mother of Lacey, I mean, she was about to receive her first grandchild, right? For them, it was such a happy moment. In those situations, even though for us it was very obvious in the beginning, he was so deceptive. I mean, I can go through more later, highlight a little bit more. But for now, let me hear this one.
Amber.
He's giving the interview. His phone is ringing. Let's see what he does.
Called it a pack of lies, not knowing that she was in there. So it's just not.
Mind you, if your wife or your husband was missing and the phone is ringing, what would your reaction be? Your child, your spouse, somebody is missing. And the phone rings. What is your first thought?
Not important to comment about that. I'm glad that Amber came forward.
I'm glad Amber came forward. Yeah, right. Now he's trying to ignore the phone. He's trying to ignore it. Wouldn't you run to the phone and say, Lacey, is that, or you would think it's an abductor or somebody like that, right? Your significant special other is missing, who is pregnant with your child of 8 months, and your phone keeps going off. It's not ringing once or twice. It's ringing and keeps on ringing. Look at him.
Turn that off.
Yeah, what is that?
That's my phone, unfortunately. I thought it was off. And I'll just answer that question again.
Check that Julio. You can't find it? Okay, let's see.
Somewhere here. Yeah, it's kind of going crazy, isn't it?
It's kind of going crazy. Dude, your wife is missing and the phone is ringing. I mean, how many different ways are there in which you can react appropriately? Not that many, right? You would run to the phone. Any news? I don't want to miss a beat. You see, these are very, very small areas where you may, not you, but most people will overlook these things. What we want to stay away from is the rhetoric, the filler. We want to get right to the important areas. So even if we have in mind to analyze the interview, this is a time stopper right here. This is a time stopper where nothing else matters at that moment, and you want to highlight what is going on. And even if you use plaids for statement analysis, what you want to do is still highlight it at least as a sensitivity. It is not, plaids is not, it is 99, let's say 90+% statement analysis. But you also want to include on the bottom, you draw a little line, other, and you can note observations. For example, timestamps, and write down, phone rings, he won't answer. He doesn't care about the phone. You got the phone?
Okay.
Look at that. Stupid commercial. He struts back. He walks back.
Yeah, so I just want to ask you a question again. I'll just.
He's only focused on the interview. He doesn't even pay any attention. He doesn't look who called. It doesn't matter to him. You see, most people miss this one. Now let's look at Sebastian Rogers.
And when I went to wake him up for school, that's when I couldn't find him.
And she corrects herself from previous statements. Recognize that? She no longer says, when I woke him up for school, I didn't find him. That's when he wasn't there. She is self-aware enough to understand. Now, something happens.
He wasn't in his room, and he wasn't in the house.
Crap, that's not the one. Hold on. I know she sent it to me. Oh, crap. This is... Wait.
First thing I did was call my husband, and I said, he's not here. My husband said, what do you mean he's not here? I said, he's not in the house.
Who's not here?
And he said, immediately just started, did you check here? Did you check there? Did you look here? And I ran through the house, and at that point I was hysterical, for lack of a word. And
listen to this.
We three-wayed the police. And
Shh. The dog is barking. I think that was a couple of weeks after Sebastian was reported missing, guys. The dog is barking. Wouldn't you run to the door to see if Sebastian is there or not? Your dog is alerting you. Yes, Laura, exactly. That's the one. Oh, is that you? Is this Lauren from... No, Laura. Okay, different. Not Lauren from Facebook. Okay, Laura. Hi. Welcome. Exactly, that's the one I have been looking for. Lauren sent me this, but I had to find the part where Scott Peterson did what he did. The dog is barking. if your son was missing, wouldn't you run to the door immediately to see if it was him, if he just came back? I think this is already it. And now let's go to Janie. Unless there's more, wait.
I'm within minutes they were here. I couldn't tell you exactly.
The dog
how
keeps
long
barking, by the
was
way.
passed.
And then he stops.
And we haven't found him.
When I got the phone call that he was missing.
When you panicked, what did you do?
So the dog still keeps barking. Neither of them get up. Neither of them get up to look. So let's look at this. Wait. Okay, this is going to be Janie. Janie McKenzie. Yeah.
Has to think for so long.
Okay, that's my video.
Shows me that she
This is one of you guys has sent me the timestamp to look at this one more time. So I will let it play with my voice until I get to the right point.
is hiding a lot of things that are on her mind in terms of having to be silent about them. And that is why leakage often occurs, because whatever you need to be silent about is going to be right in the forefront of your mind. That's why it leaks out. It spills out.
On the four-wheeler, we were up at the pipeline.
We were all at the pipeline. Now, I want to make sure that everybody understands where the pipeline actually is. Okay? Give me a second. Let me get the map back. This is very important because I was not aware exactly of where the pipeline was located. And I have asked several of you to help me make 100% sure that I'm going to be able to see. So this is Garlock Road, and here is Jack and Lily's place. I believe that this is the pipeline right here. This is the power line, and this is Matheson West Road. Now Google closed caption is going to recognize Matheson West Road as Madison Road. There is no Madison Road. This is a little bit north of Jack and Lily's house. And you go Matheson West Road, you will hit the pipeline. And it's all about the pipeline. The pipeline is the key. Yes, and thank you to the people who are available to me when I reach out to you and clarify things for me, which is very, very important, people. That is exactly where the pipeline is located. So, I figure that before I give you the statements, I make sure there is no misunderstanding. Now Janie is going to talk about this area.
Coming out at the road called the Madison Road.
We were coming out at the road called the Matheson West Road, not Madison, okay? So don't be like me and a couple other people who go to Google Maps or Google Earth and look for Madison. It's Matheson. And I've just shown you where it's located. It leads from Garlock Road to the pipeline. And now my question is, did they want as many people as possible in that area to use their ATVs to drive over the pipeline area? For example, did Janie use the same ATV that Daniel used that night? So they would have an excuse why there are tire tracks from that ATV. And I believe that was one of the reasons why Janie spent an awful lot of time herself. But she talks about Peterson Road. She doesn't want to let us know how much time she herself spent there at the pipeline. Because that pipeline area was, in my opinion, a crime scene. Not the crime scene, but still an extended crime scene, guys. Make no mistake about it, please.
Malaya called me on my phone.
Okay, so I thought you don't have really reception there. I guess that's not true. Malaya called me on my phone. But let's see exactly where she was at the time. One more time. We were coming out at the road called the Peterson Road. The road was leading to the pipeline. She's not mentioning that. I think she catches herself and realizes I mentioned the pipeline a little bit too much. Right? Daniel kept talking about all the culverts, all the dirt roads. I did everything. He did everything except the pipeline. He didn't mention that one. He avoided that one. And when you spend so much time talking about all the areas that you claim to have searched, but not the area where you spent all day searching for something other than Jack and Lily, of course, that is also avoidance. How much time we spend on explaining or mentioning certain areas needs to reflect somewhat how much energy we have put into the action itself. Not mentioning the pipeline at all. Using terminology like everywhere, I looked everywhere. That is a huge form of avoidance, guys. And avoidance is a form of deception, but avoidance needs to be highlighted individually, because avoidance is what can lead us directly to the one area that is so sensitive. It can lead us directly to figuring out what type of crime took place. So we were coming out at the road called Peterson Road, okay?
Called me.
Malaya called her. Now, mind you, Jack and Lily were missing and they claimed they had no idea what happened. What would you do? You are out and about, just riding around, right? Because you wouldn't know where exactly to look for Jack and Lily, right? You wouldn't have a goal, except the only goal was to get rid of evidence and dilute evidence, meaning step over the ATV tracks that Daniel left at night, drive over them, possibly with the same ATV, drive up and down, guys. It's a long stretch that I believe Daniel drove. And they wanted to get rid of the tire tracks. That's why so many people, I believe, helped. That's why I believe they wanted as many people as possible down there. So whenever police would re-examine and see tire tracks from Daniel, from the ATV, they would say, well, the same ATV was here all day searching. That is exactly what they were doing, people. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. And Malaya called her. And Malaya could have told her, hey, everybody come back. Jack and Lily are back here, right? Because you told us you didn't have any idea what happened. If I was out there searching for Jack and Lily, and Malaya, the mother, calls me, I stop okay, because at that moment, maybe we can break up the search. Maybe we can stop right now. We don't really have a goal. We are searching only to find Jack and Lily. Nothing else matters. So Malaya calls me, and why would I spend hours there if she calls me and says, listen, we found Jack and Lily, even if it was they found the bodies, or if they turned up. Suddenly, when Malaya calls, none of what you are doing, if you are actually searching for Jack and Lily, should matter whatsoever. It wouldn't make a damn difference. That would be your priority and your only priority to answer that call. But listen what this woman says.
On my phone.
Okay, so you had reception, dumbass.
She called me
and she's stupid enough to even volunteer the time. And that's gonna incriminate her even further. Watch this.
3:32.
She called her at 3:32 p.m., okay?
I didn't answer because we were talking to a lady on her.
I didn't answer, and of course she feels a need to explain it. But look at that reason. We were talking to a lady on
a four-wheeler with a child.
Insignificant information, unless we may want to find out who that lady is. So, since so many people have given me amazing information that I didn't even ask for, if any of you has an idea who that lady on her four-wheeler might be, I would love to hear from her. I would love to hear about her. I would love to hear if she had anything to say. Because it doesn't seem to me that talking to a lady, unnamed, a lady, just a lady, right? Insignificant. What is so important for you to talk to this lady that you would ignore a call from the mother of the kids you are looking for, who was at the house, who stayed behind in case they come back, and who would be with the RCMP presence over there, the one receiving important calls from the RCMP or important news. That's what would matter, right? And the police did not bother with the pipeline too much at the time. And that is something very strange to me, that they were not alerted by the fact that so many people are going right there. And just to make it very clear, well, according to the documents, it was Friday night that Daniel contacted Chance and said, please come down to help us with finding, well, who knows what he said actually in reality. I don't know if that's the first contact. That doesn't mean that was the first contact he had with Chance about this, right? So I would like to also see Earl's phone records, especially from Thursday night. And why wouldn't you add Brother Ron's there also? And apparently, the pipeline either borders Earl's property or runs right through it. Let's look at the map one more time, because I want to make sure from now on, because apparently I spoken fast and some of you have missed certain parts, so I will try the Ninja approach now. I will talk really slow. This is Garlock Road here. This is Garlock Road. And you go a little bit north. I cannot do the accent, so go a little bit north. And there you turn west on the Peterson Road to the pipeline. And there we go. And there is Earth's property. Isn't that something? And he lost some items there. All right. You see it now? Thank you, Danielle. That's why I never listened to that for even. And then she comes up with with different theories, and that's when I realized she has no clue what she's talking about. Because I would never pay attention to theories. I would look at the possibilities. And if any other channel actually, which hasn't happened yet, leads me towards possibilities, then I will say, great job, thank you, and I mention you again and again. But just repeating shit I said. Come on. But what if it was Malaya who did it? And what if Malaya had been the one? By the way, are you tired yet? So let me do the Ninchi approach, because apparently some of you messaged me, yeah, but Ninchi thinks Malaya did it. Oh boy, because she talks slower than me, because she repeats herself and hammers, okay. Let me do the same thing. If you can't beat them, join them, right, people? Oh my God, let's do it. Here is Matt. Okay. In case you don't understand my accent, you may want to do closed caption in order not to miss a bit. And you can rewind. Okay, here's the Garlock Road. You go up north. Here's Matheson. This is Matheson West Road. It leads right to the pipeline. Here it goes down at borders Earl's property, and that is the area where items have been found, right? Including there was that footprint and the boot print. Now, Malaya said she had size 12 or 13, but Malaya bought the size 11, right? So one of you was like, did Malaya sleep through the entire childhood of Jack and Lily? Or did she not want us to think that this was the boot print? And now her friends found that blanket, but I don't believe she filled them in exactly on everything that happened. So the friends may think, oh shit, we should have kept it to ourselves. I think that's really possible, right? Because Malaya does not want people to know what happened. She already covered up for Daniel. She had been covering up for Daniel for ages with the CPS and everything. That's what she had been doing. Hi, Chasa. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Chasa. I'm happy. So just to go back a little bit, Chasa, I'm talking about, okay, this is Matheson West Road, right? Matheson West, Garlock Road, Jack and Lily, up north, turn west, pipeline area. And what I've been talking about is the fact that Justin, Janie, and many others, they were there, and I believe that their goal was to actually use the same ATV that was used that night to get rid of Jack and Lily, that they want to drive over this again and again. So when police says, wait a minute, there are tire tracks from the ATV here, which would be from Thursday night, they will be able to say, well, there are many tire tracks and that ATV was there that day. This area should have been secured, but it wasn't. Or none of these people should have been allowed anywhere there, because their only mission was to get rid of evidence. That's the only mission. That's why all of them only hung out at the pipeline area. I will go back so Charles can hear it one more time, because this is very, and I think Danielle, not Daniel, but Danielle, I think you're the one who pointed out the timestamp for me. Somebody did.
And that is why leakage often occurs, because whatever you need to be silent about is going to be right in the forefront of your mind. Now
listen to this.
That's why it leaks out. It spills out.
On the four-wheeler, we were up at the pipeline. We were coming out at the road called the Madison Road.
Not Madison. Matheson West, okay?
Malaya called me.
Malaya called you. Again, Malaya is there. She would be the one who has no info. She could have called you to say Jack and Lily have been found, break up the search, everybody come home, happy day. Or, of course, the bodies could have been found, but either way, it would make everything else obsolete.
On my phone. She called me at
Yes, I'm making background noise. So what?
3:32. I
3:32 p.m.
didn't answer because we were talking to a lady on her four-wheeler with a child.
Yes. Who is that lady? That's what I want to know. Who is that lady? I want to hear from her. I want to hear, because I think she talked to this lady maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then she was riding the four-wheeler up and down the pipeline to get rid of the tire tracks that Daniel had left that night with the child. Okay, great.
Then she called me back at 5:39.
2 hours and 7 minutes later, Janie did not bother calling her back. And I don't care how much you like or dislike Malaya. If your goal is to search for Jack and Lily, you will take this call. She didn't even call back. Over 2 hours later, Malaya called her back. And that is so, and unfortunately, most of you who come now have missed the important parts and the other examples that I shared you because you were busy with crime and shame. Okay, but I will move on. Yes, Mike, I caught this back in chats when she said she had that, yes. I thought then it's very strange, not sure if the lady matters, but the excuse is definitely, yes, Chasa, I want to know who the lady is. And that lady is, of course, not in any trouble whatsoever, or a suspect or a person of interest. But I would like to know from her only one thing. How long did you converse? Of course, there would be more questions. Which way was Janie riding after that? What was she doing at the time that you ran into her? Did anything stand out? What was Janie talking about? Because I don't think she talked long to her. I think she is being used as an excuse for why she would not get back with Malaya, because she knew what had happened. She knew there wouldn't be positive news. She knew there wouldn't be Jack and Lily have been located. They came back to the house. Everything is okay. Break up the search. No, there's more.
I answered the phone. She told me to get back here to the trailer. I said, "What's up?" She said, "I can't tell you over the..."
And that's what she said. What's up? Just, what's up? What the hell do you want? She didn't say, Malaya, did they find them? No. Because Janie knows what happened to Jack and Lily, and Janie knows that Malaya knows what happened to Jack and Lily. And so her attitude is like, what the hell do you want? We're getting rid of Daniel's evidence he left behind. And you should have taken better care of your kids to keep them quiet so my doggy doesn't go off. It's your fault. They're thinking about everything that precedes Daniel's actions that have gotten rid of Jack and Lily. That's what they're holding on to. That's why they're blaming Malaya, in my opinion. The pipeline dudes, yep. So,
The phone. So
I cannot tell you over the phone. Okay, so there's...
I came back here. Me and Justin came back here to the trailer. Marlea was standing on the edge of the driveway.
And, of course, Ninchi says, well, that's probably because I think that the driveway and Malaya had something to do with Malaya actually is guilty. Yeah, no, it's not the truth. Because she has this imprinted in her mind, because for the important parts of the day, she saw Malaya standing there when Malaya waited for police, and Malaya kept standing there with Meadow on her arm on the edge of the driveway. Okay, now listen to the question.
Crying her
Where was Daniel?
eyes out.
Well, we know now Daniel was at the pipeline all day. He slept a little bit, he got up, he went back there.
Went up and I put my arms around.
She was crying her eyes out, right? And so she wants to make herself, okay. I went and put my arms, okay. Listen to this.
Around her and said, please don't tell me that they found the kids dead.
Please don't tell me they found the kids dead. Why is that the first thing that came to her mind? Well, Malaya was crying, of course. But I believe that Daniel and Malaya are very confident that Jack and Lily will not be found. Janie is a different person. First of all, Janie has no faith in her son. Janie thinks her son is a complete loser. Deep inside, she thinks that she loves him, but she feels he cannot do anything right. I would never let him run the ATV. She wouldn't even, okay, if you don't let your 32-year-old son, of course you let him use the ATV that night. That was an emergency. But if you don't let your 32-year, okay, I can understand if you have a, 15-year-old son who, he's 32 years old. You don't let your 32-year-old son, I would, he should, and you just can't ask, never mind. You don't let your 32-year-old son ride the ATV. It means you have no faith in him whatsoever, right? And in general, Janie is a highly pessimistic and negative person. So I believe that what she was worried about was that the bodies of the children would be found. I don't think Daniel was worried about it. He has faith in himself as a fisherman. He knows the tides. He knows what he probably had conversations. Wow, it would be easy to get it. I don't know. But I think he had complete faith. I believe Malaya as well, because she thanked the huge surf efforts. Malaya knew or felt there was no chance the kids are going to be found. Different with Janie. My son cannot do anything right. I don't care. He said, I don't care. I want to see it to believe. His father, same way. His dad told me he was going to do something and then he didn't do it. I be damned. And now he has no money for rent. Oh my God. So I think that she had absolutely no faith, zero faith in her son. So the first thing came to mind. They found Jack and Lily. That was her worry. But what was she doing for these 2 hours over there? That's what I'm very interested in finding out. So.
Haley?
Put her arms around her, yes.
Okay, I think that's it from that. So I'm going to go back a little bit now. And let me check some of my personal messages here, because I was waiting for some more information, people. Okay. Nothing yet. Okay. Well, the properties. Let me look a quick second. Properties of Earl. I've been sent some information here and there. I think that would be Earl's property up here, somewhere by the coastline, but nowhere near the ocean, right, Chasa? I think that's the one. And there are a bunch of properties from, let's look at the map again. Let's look at Google Earth. Google Earth has been really good, people. That would be up here somewhere. And I have a lot more information on that, but right now, this information is incomplete. I would like to know, what was Ron driving? What is Earl driving? What are the pipeline boys driving? What vehicle was hurt in the middle of the night? Was it one of his buddies? Because, oh yeah, wait a minute. Let me see this. Let me see all of this real quick. I hope I'm not doxing anybody here with, no, I'm not. So the shed is what I'm talking about. That was empty, but here were the forts, and here are 2 cabins, and one had a brand new lock, right? Is that what it is? Let's go to the next one. I'll make sure that I haven't yet cropped it properly. I want to make sure that, oh crap. Again, pipeline, power line. Pipeline, power line, people. Train tracks. I'm enlarging this so I don't show the name. Here we go. This is the train track right here, okay? That's not the pipeline and that's not the power line. And the train track runs parallel to Lansdowne Road. The power line and the pipeline are crossing both Lansdowne Road at a 90-degree angle and the train tracks. Let's make sure, because I wanted to make 100% sure that none of us gets confused here. As I have been. I was not certain. See? I am now gonna let you guys know that everything that I'm doing is good. Is a reason for that. So here's the train track, here's Lansdowne Road, to make real sure. Because it seems that the slower they speak, the more people pay attention. Yes. Yes. Good call. Okay, Gordon Summit, not important. And okay, where is that property that Daniel So I am looking at a bunch of properties from, here, Earl Robert Martell, owner, because apparently he owned 100 acres worth of stuff, right? Doesn't mean that the children were taken to any of those locations. Doesn't mean that, people. Doesn't mean that. But still, it's an area of interest. I want to get deeper, more deeper into. Now you're tempting me to go on with that. No, this is Nancy. I want to go. Sounded like when what's his name? Groucho Marx was on a Dick Cavett show when he was already 80. Well, it's before your time. Shit. Okay, give me 1 second. I want to make sure what I show you is not unimportant. Shreenan. I don't know who the Shreenans are. Property owner Shreenan. Bunch of Mackenzies here. Ron Mackenzie. Okay. This one is Ron Mackenzie right here. Ron Mackenzie and Margaret Mackenzie. Okay, here we go. Gordon Summit. This would be Lansdowne Road, right? Jack and Lily. This is Lansdowne Road. This is the property, I think, where Jack and Lily were. Right, people? So here's one that apparently Ron and Margaret Mackenzie. Interesting. It's actually more fun looking through all these tedious things with you guys together. So, and I'm not that good with these maps, man. And I don't have to be because some of you are. Okay, let me keep it up there. Keep it up, people. So, give me 1 second. I'll be back in 1 minute. I need more coffee, man. This takes too much energy out of me. I think I need to talk even slower because after that I have more bullshit. So, I can't believe people are watching these other channels instead of mine. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. No, I care, but I don't. Wow. That is really insane. I mean, seriously. But I know like half of the comments are pretty confused, so I realize. But the thing is, here is Margaret and Ron, right? You guys had enough time to look at it. And now we have Justin Martell and Daniel and Janie Martell. Wait a minute. Is this anybody who know? Okay, Justin, Janie, Justin Charles Martell, Daniel Robert Martell, and Janie Marie Mackenzie. But this, what's highlighted here, would be next to Earl's, right? Yeah, here's Earl's property. And there's the pipeline, by the way, but he, Can you see that? Typo, urine. So there is Earl. No, Ron. Sorry, guys. Sorry. This says Ron Martell. Ron Mackenzie. I'm so sorry, guys. This is not Earl. This is Ron Mackenzie right here. This property. Here's a pipeline, power line. Here's Lansdowne Lake. Remember, there's Madison Road, I guess, somewhere there. This is Jack and Lily. This is Ron. And right next to it is a property owned by Justin, Daniel, and Janie. Right here. By the way, there was a property for sale recently. I shared it with you guys. Is it that one? Could be, right? But that's not my priority right now. I will look more into it later. And yes, I avoid these types of things. I avoid listening. I pay, how could a house be in more than one name? I don't know. And who has the say so, right, Krista? Because I'm sure Daniel wouldn't mind selling it. I think Daniel would be ready to get 1/3 immediately, man, whatever it is. But, Justin and Janie are the co-owners. Family trust. Yeah, well, they are the owners. And I think I spent enough time looking at the map with you guys for you to realize what is what, where is where, and who is who, right? If there are questions, please clarify it now. Please bring the questions at this time. And if I don't look at it now, I will look at it later. Oh, it's an Aussie? I don't know. I don't know the difference between a British accent. No, I do know the difference. You know what I mean? I assumed she was English. So is the best thing to say when you don't know what the hell to say, man. Doesn't matter if you get an accent wrong or if you're caught in a lie. You say so. And there's another property up north that's co-owned by Justin, by the way. And I don't know if I want to share this right now because the co-owner is a lady that I look more into it. Hi, Ida. Ida, I like your presence on other channels because you stand your ground. That's a very good thing, right? You don't go with their flow, you keep your flow. It doesn't have to be my flow, but it needs to be the right flow for you. Meaning that you don't become apologetic, as I see so many people. They talk one way in my chat or in my comment section and another way in another one. And I see it, I know it. But intention is everything, really. And the only intention doesn't matter what channel, the only intention has to be that we figure out what happened. That's the only intention that we can have. It doesn't matter if we like the person or not. It doesn't matter if some of you like Daniel more than Malaya. Or vice versa. It's not about that. Some of you really dislike Malaya, and I understand why. Because ultimately, a mother should protect her children. She made the choice to pick Daniel. Yeah? So calling her a victim, okay, well, no, not in my book. Because if you have children, you need to do what you can. And she had options. She wouldn't have had to move into some shelter and figure, no. Her grandmother or her mother, they were ready to take her. She didn't feel the need to protect Jack and Lily. So is she guilty? Absolutely. Is she the one who hurt them? No, I don't believe that. And it's not even a belief. It's the language it indicates it wasn't her. How do you do an Aussie accent if she's Aussie? Well, I cannot do Aussie. That's absolutely the truth. Yeah. Because these kids, they don't choose the wrong partner. We do as grown-ups. We choose the wrong partners from time to time. And that's why I dislike it so much when people on X are talking about Chris Proudfoot reminds me of my ex. He was a narcissist. But they don't make it about Sebastian. And they want to make it about themselves and use it to tell their stories. And then they believe, I think Green Hoodie took Sebastian. Then they fabricate and they all agree on the same lie. And all of a sudden the case goes cold. We need to stay on it, people. The outcome, it's something else. The outcome, we don't know what it's going to be, but it doesn't really matter. A case is not closed for me because police gave up. A case is not closed for me because the courts decided or the jury decided something that I disagree with. It's never closed for me. The OJ case wasn't closed for me simply because, the jury decided that he's not guilty. And that's with every single case. I care about de facto. We care about the facts, but we also have to know when to step in and when to step out. And we are oftentimes at the place where we say we know exactly where police should look right now. And if they're not doing it, well, if you have connections and you have pressure to put on somebody, do it, exercise it. But if they refuse, like in the case of Sebastian Rogers, and I pointed out the properties of the Bauer success, all the indications, all the digging references, the bulldozer, everything, the into thin air, those types of references. And I looked into the properties there too. And I looked at the avoidances from Chris Proudfoot. So if they're not doing it, there's nothing we can do. However, that doesn't matter that all of a sudden we can into the sorry, I'm reading something. What did Groove Cat say? I missed it. And the problem is that when most people, they read, okay, no criminal conduct or no criminal response or whatever it is. And the same also when the sheriff in up there in Hendersonville said, and he used all three names together, right? Chris Proudfoot, Katie Proudfoot. He said Tess Rogers and the Proudfoots. There's no indication any of them is responsible. Then people are like, okay, maybe it was an abduction. You see, you always have to realize what impact something has on the public, and the public perception is unbelievably important. And it's extremely important to police, as well as the government agencies in general, that faith in law enforcement stays maintained. And there is a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of red tape. There's so much. And it's not easy to be a good investigator and deal with that same red tape. It's very difficult, actually. And there are many law enforcement officers all over the world that I have spoken to who completely agree with analyses and confirm parts of my analyses in other cases. But they explain to me there's nothing I can do. If I voice myself too much, I'm losing my job. They're going to chase me out of the department. Not with the RCMP, but different cases. It's been decided that this case is now cold. Officially, they will say it's ongoing, but in reality, they don't want people to look deeper because of the mistakes made. Law enforcement, you see all the mistakes people make in every job there is. Law enforcement is no different, guys. They want to keep their jobs. So I know when to step in and when to step out. But the beautiful thing is there are many people like me. And what I'm doing is making sure that we know the truth. Maybe in 20 years, it'll be, maybe never, maybe in 2 weeks, it'll make a huge difference. I don't know. But the thing is that it is a lot easier to focus on the truth than get sidetracked, flip-flop, go back and forth between reality and possibility and so on, and lies. And then you go to sleep confused, wondering what is. But I think this is very, very interesting here, that this is Ron's property. This one belongs to, I guess I would say it belongs to Janie, even though her sons are listed there too. that probably means that when Janie dies one day, it'll go to her sons. And Daniel will battle Justin, who may or may not want. They probably both want to sell it, but Daniel will be like, calling him 100 times a day. You got a buyer yet? You got a buyer? You got a buyer? Janie wants to hold on to it probably because she knows that at least half of the money will disappear within 3 weeks. So, where was I? Let me go back to something else. Let me see the other ones, the other images. And thank you to the wonderful person who sent this my way. Here's McKay, Stuart McKay. I don't know who that is actually. So there are quite a few names here that are, well, what is this one? Oh, that's interesting. Look at this one here. Tanya Geddes, Barry William Geddes. Okay, they must be related, of course. This is a small place. But all this land here, actually, isn't this where Jack and Lily are? Or is this, I think this is where Jack and Lily's property is, right? All this land is owned by Geddeses. Right? That's what I'm seeing here. Value. What the hell is this? Can you see this? Can you see it, people? Should I move this a little bit? A little bit. I have to move this right now. And I hope you will still stay with me. Tanya Geddes, Barry William Geddes' value only $2,800 for this big piece of land? The hell is going on, man? That's not a lot of money. Daniel will go through that in a weekend. And their relative Jordan, allegedly. Wow, so the land value, of course, I mean, needless to say, there's nothing, it's probably just for, nobody wants it, right? There's nothing of value there. It's landlocked, no water, from what I see. Let me see your comments. Yeah, absolutely unusable, right? And from what I understand, everybody's dating everybody there. Hillbilly culture. So I don't know who's who, who's related to whom, and how they interconnected, and what is this and what is that. Allegedly, everything is my opinion only. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. So that's interesting, man. I haven't even looked at that yet. You see, this is perfect for life. This is perfect because the whole time I can read your comments, and that is interesting, guys. Yes, that woman and her child. I want to know her name. If you guys know who she is, not the child's name. I want the woman's name. I would love. Yeah, everyone is family, exactly. And what kind of options do you have? I mean, did Janie and Earl grow up in the same area? I mean, it was kind of like, of course they started getting married eventually because there was no other options in this. They were, I mean, you know. Whatever's available. That's why Daniel held on to Malaya so closely because, you know, there are not many women around. And when you find one who's willing to live in a trailer like that with your mama, then, you know, any takers? Of course, if he had some going for himself, he would be, you know, it would be a different story. But this is how close-knit it is there. So you think people will tell on each other in that area? They will live around each other. And there's not a lot of people to go around there. So is it a surprise they all hung out here by the pipeline the whole day, destroying the tracks from the ATV and whatever else there was? Let's see a little bit more, people. This one also. This is a Melvin Geddes. Melvin Lawrence Geddes. And sure enough, the property next to the other Geddeses, that's only worth $3,000, is right here. And that value is, oh my God, how can this be the case? $178,800. Really? I don't want it. But I guess it's at the crossroads here, and you can. But I mean, how many people would go there to buy gas and cookies? You know what I mean? I don't know. So that's kind of strange. But there's another Geddes. You see, they are neighbors with their properties. With Janie. Interesting, right? Really, really interesting, actually. And so, well, it's not surprising, people. Let's see the next one. And I'll make sure that. And there's another one, Melvin Lawrence Geddes. Melvin Lawrence Geddes, right here. Right across. Here's Jack and Lily. Geddes, Geddes, Geddes. Mackenzie. So I guess Ron lives across from Earl. They all live close to each other. Of course, Earl and Janie are no longer on good terms. And but they still, of course, live very close to each other. I'd love to know Robin Edwards. Who's that? Who's Robin Edwards? Property values listed on the provincial list is the value they are taxed on. Okay, thank you. If they were sold, the property tax is based on value being purchase amount. Thank you, Miss Kitty. Makes sense. Geddes. Yeah, so this is just to give you guys an idea who's who, who's where, and what the hell is going on. Next, I got a couple more. I didn't think I'd get to this, but sometimes it's good when you have a little bit of downtime and you realize, and who is McKay? Anybody know who is McKay? Last name McKay, because these have been included here. I don't know who McKay is. By the way, some of you are I'm getting message. Hi, Marley. Some of you have been messaging me in the last couple of days, or even right after I got a live, and asked me if I was going to do a live. So make sure you got the notification bell if you want to be alerted whenever I get a live going. So, But wait a minute, this is, okay, then maybe this is Jack and Lily right here. Maybe this is that property, because McKay owns this piece. So maybe this is where Jack and Lily lived. Should I look at Google Earth one more time to compare? Why not, right? And I'm going to zoom in to see where this hellhole is. So, this looks like it, right? Let's zoom out. Okay? This is Madison West. Here's that curve. Let's remember, it is right there. Sha-la-la-la-la. So, back to the scene, back to the footage, back to where I was. Yeah, man. It would be this one right here. This should be it. This one. And this would be by Stuart Alexander McKay. Whoever he is. I don't know. Yeah, Canadian dollars, but Canadian and American dollars is pretty similar, right, in value? Right? I think so. Really? No notification? I don't freaking know, man. I really don't know. I don't plan to do these. I do them whenever I feel like, okay, now I have something I need to share. Then I go on. That moment. Really? Our money is much lower? I didn't know. Well, how many Canadian dollars is one American dollar?
1 United States dollar equals 1 Canadian dollar and 38 cents.
Okay. So, yeah, there's a difference. So that would make it, that would make the $2,000, $2,800 property $2,000, more or less, right? $2,000 for this big thing? Well, of course, that's how they're being taxed. So the people who own the 178,000, they're paying quite a bit. That leads me to believe that those Gaddises don't feel the need to, minimize Melvin Lawrence Gaddis. This one, not important, I know. Let's move on. So, one moment. Harvey Allen Mackenzie. Well, this one is far away. Kinda. You know what I mean? Harvey Allen Mackenzie right here. It's kind of a little bit away. So we're getting now to the less important ones. But it's also worth noting that these guys, this family, he owns also this one. And this one. That one's worth 16,200. The other one 7,500. And that little one next to it, 116,000. But according to resource tax, is 5,000. Not very important, right? But anything FYI can later on maybe become more significant than it is at the current time. And here we have one by Wayne Logan Mackenzie. And that one is right here, $41,000. Canada has been inviting all these to move there. Health insurance, and we pay. Yeah, health insurance is a lot, right? You have to pay for it because it's universal health insurance. So everybody has to pay in based on their income, right? If I'm correct. So basically, if you make a decent income, you're being taxed to support the others who don't. To make sure Malaya got $2,000 every month that didn't go to her, that she allegedly pissed away to keep it real. Well. That's quite a bit that he sent to me, man. I'm really, really amazed that. And please make sure this, and this is what I've been doing in the last few days, guys. I've been looking at a lot of information. So while I'm looking at information, I feel like I don't want to do a live right now because there's so much more. And I know he's probably watching, and I'm going to get this wrong. Oh, that's interesting. But I want to get, okay. I want to make sure I ask him a little bit about a couple more things. Is this the one that's co-owned by Justin up there? All right, one moment. Now, what is new, people? Is there anything that came up recently that I may have missed? Like some of you have watched other channels when I first started, an hour and 34 minutes ago. Is there any information that you've gotten that I may have missed? Oh my God, now people are starting to come finally. Right. What did I miss? Oh my God, now people must have something just ended, right? So those of you who watch other channels and just come on, feel free to tell me or tell us in the comment section if there's anything that the rest of us may have missed. Is there anything new? I'm going to look through my messages to see if somebody has already informed me. Give me 1 second, people. And okay, here we go. Here's a question. Why wasn't Cheryl interviewed? The friend who was also there with Haley. Is that true? That she wasn't interviewed by police? One of you says Patty Pearson. That should be Malaya's grandmother, right? Should be re-interviewed since she was confused about the details in her interview. What or who prompted Patty Pearson to leave Daniel's home when she was dead set on staying? Till Jack and Lily were found. What was she told to change her mind? It's an interesting question also. Another one is, can Hayden, Emily, or Patty confirm if on May 1 or any other time they saw Lily with a black eye and or how she got it? I think they saw Patty the day before that, right? I think, no, wait a minute. Yeah, May 1st was that Thursday when they were at the scene at the mall. So the day before, Wednesday. But I think she received her black eye that night. And of course, what makes him martyrs to Earl Martell and Ron Mackenzie Drive? And the Pipeline Boys, right? That's also of interest to me, people. It's actually of great interest to me. I'm going to turn the sound off. Let me see this. Let me see. Give me 1 second.
Having a popsicle in the background.
I appreciate you guys asking me if there's anything that I need. No, there's not. The only thing that I need is people to stop the rumors and accusations because it's not helping anything. It is just making everybody's life miserable, and it's also hurting the children of all these rumors, and they got to stop. So I'm here to tell you the truth on my side of what I have seen and what I've heard. I've been telling everybody from the start of this, I had no involvement in the disappearance of Jack and Lily. I gave the investigators the same story that I'm telling you guys.
Story.
I did not have anything to do with what if Daniel has said or done.
Boy, oh boy.
I've been holding this in.
She really was adamant about.
So.
Not having any.
Wow, I'm seeing many of you at this chat of A-Balance. Oh my God. Unreal. Let me see what I'm missing here. I pay attention what people pay attention to many times because I want to see where
Anything to do with
where something comes from.
yeah, the only
So here we go with Janie. I think Janie, let me ask you guys, whose statements do you think we have not sufficiently analyzed yet? What do you think? Have you guys thought of something? Or is there anything where you can say, I want more information? Because I want to watch some more statements now and see if, because we are now way ahead of where we were before, if things start making more sense than they did in the very beginning. And let me look. And I think Underwater Adventures UK is a pretty decent one. Wait.
It's starting to taper off with investment.
Give me 1 second. That one I will go to for sure. I don't know if I should do it right now because it's really about prioritizing. Audio from Daniel Martel and the bundle. Okay, wait.
Okay. I'm absolutely exhausted at this point after going through 6 days of virtual hell. It's absolutely crazy. So I'm just fighting for Lily and Jack. I've done everything. I've given them all my information. I'm here to find the kids. Just waiting for them to come home.
You know, it should be a given that you're here to find the kids. What else would you be here for? But what he is doing here is expressing a need to tell us that what he is doing is for Jack and Lily. Because it isn't. None of it is. He's trying to explain where he's been the whole time, where he's been for hours, where he's been all day. Because most of the family members, they kept at least going back to the house. They stayed at the house. And why wouldn't you? I mean, if there is a big search team out there, they wouldn't need you. You would be there and see how you can add to this. But he wants to convince us that the reason he's been out there is for a good cause.
It doesn't get any easier. I mean, 1 month has passed. It breaks my heart.
Uh-oh. Breaks your heart. That's what he told me in my chat. It's heartbreaking. Why? Where's your hope to find them? When you're heartbroken, you're already given up. When you have pain and sorrow, no, you've given up. That actually indicates knowledge. Something heartbreaking had taken place. But if you don't know where the children are, you would think about the possibilities where they could be if they were alive, if that's what you actually believed. Let's see his face.
Jack Sullivan, still missing?
Reading the words from a page he was handed at a vigil for his missing stepchildren, 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, Daniel Martel says it brought out a lot of emotions.
They had some RCP speakers and people from the community, and there was even one guy who drove all the way from Sheet Harbor to...
Yeah, I looked at the Sheet Harbor area too. But I don't think that's where he went that night.
Come up and show his respect. So I appreciate that.
Show his respect. That is also a reference to somebody who's gone. The final respect. You know what I mean? Even that one indicates knowledge that the children are no longer with us.
This and weeks of interviews, there still hasn't been a major break in the case. And for their stepfather, the silence inside the once busy home is deafening.
Going from a family of 7 to just me, I mean, I have nothing but time to just think. I haven't even got to see my own kids. Not even Meadow yet.
Not even. And also, that is minimizing, to say the least, the importance of Jack and Lily. Because his children who are alive, who are accounted for, you know, that's what's on his mind. Jack and Lily, not at all. So what he's trying to do actually is take attention away from them, or let you guys know that he has better things to worry about, so to speak. That's his intention behind this statement at the time. And by the way, he cannot see his kids. Why? Because he could go through the courts, but there is some reason why he cannot see them. And Logan, she told us very early on, people, very early on, through her statements, how things were at the house. As far as I know, Justin was, I missed this. I missed the comment. Let me see, people. Okay, CB, you can ask here. Very good. I mean, whatever your mind, whatever's on your mind, we can clarify things. Yeah, her voice is pretty Feel free to ask questions that are on your mind. And I repeat, on your mind, not rumors you heard from some other channel, unless they have a source. We want to know exactly what was and what wasn't. That's what's important here. If there are any types of doubts on anybody's mind, this is the time to bring it up, people. Because we don't want to have gray areas left. Gray will turn to black or white.
But I'm still hopeful. I have supervised visits coming up that are granted by.
Look how energetic he becomes when he talks about his own kids, and how little there is about Jack and Lily. You see, what we recognize here is a change of pattern. What we recognize is when, even though he's trying to sound like it is about Jack and Lily, it always shifts to his own kids. The same way with Janie. Jack and Lily, yeah. And then all of a sudden, the teary-eyed voice. My own grandchildren. And then all of a sudden, it's always back to her. And she makes sure people understand these are her own grandchildren. Who are okay. Whose mother doesn't think they should be visited by you, Janie, or Daniel. She doesn't say, I know my ex-husband. He would never do something like this. She doesn't go on camera and say, My ex-husband has nothing to do with it. I know him. He's a good man. He's even-tempered. He's very good with children. None of that. And I know a lot of couples that are divorced, where the wife says, the woman, the mother says, you know what? I can't stand him. I cannot be around him. But he has a new wife who's really good with my kids also. And she picks up the kids on the weekends, for the weekends. And he was a shitty husband, but he's a great father. And I don't want my children to lose the opportunity, to grow up with him as well. I know a lot of couples like that. Some of them, they really, they cannot even stand looking at their ex, because they know if they get 10 feet or even 50 feet from them and see them from the distance, when I'm around, they start already bringing up old shit and be like, you don't know what he did to me. How dare you be friends with him? Well, he didn't do nothing to me, and I know him for quite a while, couple decades in some cases. But they realize the importance, because when the children come back from the weekends, they did their homework there, they're happy, they're energized, they have a little bit of a break. So even if you hate your ex, if you know that your children have a good time with him and his presence in their lives is good, and you think that the person didn't have anything to do with it, right? So I know Daniel was a lot better with his own children than he was with Jack and Lily. I mean, there is no doubt. But still, this ex of his, I would expect to say, you know what? My kids miss him. My kids love him. And I don't think he did anything. But of course, he likes to present himself as a victim at all times, right?
CPS, I know the truth. I didn't kill Lily and Jack.
When somebody says, okay, if you say, I didn't kill Lily and Jack, it's a lot stronger than saying, I know I didn't kill somebody. When somebody's asked, did you kill your wife? I know I didn't kill her. No, there's a huge red flag there. And that is huge minimizing, because you are now making it dependent on your knowledge. And you're also trying to explain that you know more than us. And if you say, I know the truth first, that's also not a denial. And the question should have been, did you kill Jack? Did you kill Lily? Not did you kill Lily and Jack? Because what if you took one of their lives and the other was an accident, right? These possibilities need to be considered. And the questions that they asked them were far too broad. So the polygraph test was really a bad one. And it doesn't give us anything. When somebody says, I passed the polygraph, even when police said he passed the polygraph, first thing to ask is, what were the questions? Well, they asked about this and about, no, don't tell me what it was about. Give me the exact questions. I want to know the exact questions. When there can be no more doubt. The exact questions is what I need, people. Chris Proudfoot told us, it's an open book cheat test. If you don't like the way it's worded, you can just change it. Well, a good polygrapher would not let you change the words at all. He will have a pre-interview. He will adjust the questions to your personal language, your language patterns. But he will be the one who comes up with the question. And if somebody tries to change it, and you can give them actually the chance to write down what they want to change it to, then this is actually very valuable. And you can use, this is most likely going to get you 10 steps closer in statement analysis, because it will show you avoidances and sensitivity indicators right there. So if there was a tape of Chris Proudfoot taking the polygraph, we would have so many answers, so many more. And of course, the 4-hour interview with Daniel, I would love to have a transcript of that one. And I would get straight to the most important part. No time wasted, people. Talk to me, Danny.
It's been 6 weeks now since you've seen Lily and Jack. I just want to ask, how are you holding up?
And I like it. I just want to ask. She's minimizing. She's sucking him in. She knows.
It's been a long 6 weeks. I know that.
Exactly. I know that. So when he says, I know that, also sensitivity right here. What do you know?
Everybody basically in the world at this point is.
Oh. Yes, AI, great.
Always wanted to know, like, what happened.
Always wanting to know what happened. And you don't? You don't. He is telling us right now, he doesn't want people to know what happened. It's an annoyance to him. Not only do people want to know, they always want to know. He doesn't get a break. He has to be on guard 24/7. A huge inconvenience. Huge. Yes, I would have loved to interview him, Carrie. I would have loved to be the one in that room with him. And I wouldn't need 4 hours. I wouldn't need that. But I would have the right questions ready. And Chris Proudfoot as well.
It's been from sadness to anger at this point. And I know the RCMP and major crimes are working around the clock.
Okay, what's the sadness about, bro? What are you sad about? You see, that's what I want to know. I would love to know what exactly you are sad about. What are you so sad about? I know Malaya's gone. It's midnight there? Yeah, I know. I watch the rest on play. You know what? Once I'm in the flow, I'll keep it going until the flow stops. But I understand that you guys... I've waited so long for this one, and I wasn't really ready with what I wanted to be ready with. Meaning I was not ready with the property lines and all of these things that I wanted to know more about. He said he dropped things at the pipeline. Who said that? Me? Josh Gaddis, who's that? Yes, I'm getting your message here. Please let me know more about any connecting dots, any connecting people. Very interested in that. And Josh Gaddis owns a red Mustang, but not sure where he's living. Okay, let's find out. I don't know who Clarence McDonald is. But just give me the highlights and I'll move in from there. Clarence. I'm just reading a message. Who seems to be a bit older, has since changed his profile and taken off where he works on his information on Facebook, but he works same place as Daniel. I found him by going through. Wow, okay. And the name of the place is Group Savoy Incorporated, Nova Scotia. Yeah, there are more people who know. And I think that Adam and Chance probably, they keep quiet, but everybody has certain confidence. And the word is often out at a workplace where people fill each other in. And of course, it's like, well, don't say nothing, but they tell each other a lot. And sometimes it gets to the weakest link, or dare I say the strongest link. I want to know who's Josh Geddes and Clarence McDonald. Very much. Very much.
Trying to piece everything together, and I'm grateful for that. But it always leaves the question, 6 weeks has gone by, and we know at this point they're not in the woods.
Okay.
And where are they?
At the end, he says, where are they? And he leads up to it very slowly. And that is distancing. That is distancing. It's also storytelling. It's a script. He's dramatizing artificially because it is not a real question. It's a fabricated, it's a storytelling question. Once upon a time, 2 children disappeared. Now we don't know where they are. Blah, 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 blah. This is Class A storytelling. In such a case, when 2 children are missing and you don't know what happened, you would immediately get to the point. Thank you, Zach. Thank you so much. And too bad a lot of you missed the first part. I don't know why. Maybe the notification bell, I have no idea. But we talked about the properties owned in the area. And before that, about the woman and the girl, or the woman and the child on the ATV. And that for 2 hours, more than 2 hours, Janie, didn't return the phone call from Malaya. Should I listen to it again? I would like to. I think this is so important. Next time I'm going to do it. If you watch something else, I'm not going to go to redo it. Or if you, let me see. I want to get back to this one. This was actually the prime.
Has to think for so long. Shows me that she is hiding a lot of things that are.
So I'm using my own channel here because one of you gave me a timestamp to revisit something.
The mind, in terms of.
And lately, also, when I search for anything Jack and Lily, a bunch of stupid stuff comes up first. And the actual interviews come like way at the bottom, But Adventures Underwater UK has been pretty good at compiling interviews.
Having to be silent about them. And
of course, I disagree with the Durwood interview being made important, right? I believe that the most important thing we can do is keep a clear mind. So when we detect that somebody only wants to sidetrack us, then we shouldn't pay attention to it, in my opinion.
That is why leakage often occurs, because whatever you need to be silent about is going to be right in the forefront of your mind.
Sir, your shape is incredible.
Oh,
how many times per week
Sorry.
do you visit the gym?
0. I'm just doing Tai Chi every day.
Shut up.
That's why it leaks out. It spills out.
On the four-wheeler, we were up at the pipeline. We were coming out at the road called the Madison Road.
Now, one more time, Madison Road, right? It's called Madison West Road. And I asked enough people till I finally got the answer. Madison West Road. Jack and Lily, let's go right there and see exactly where they were living. Oh my God. Where is it? This should be it, right? Okay. This is a shithole. So, look at the long driveway. Look at how many parking spots are here. And you're telling me Daniel, when he returned that morning, and surprisingly, police was already there. He had to park somewhere here or across or somewhere. He didn't want to run into them, people. He wanted to get rid of the car and then run through the woods to the pipeline area. So, Mattison Road should be, Mattison West should be this one. You go up, you turn west or left. Here's the pipeline area. This is a power line. This is the pipeline going through Earl's property. This is where he dropped things. This is where the blanket was found. He used the pipeline area, people. And that's the only place where they searched, and he wanted a lot of people there. And the reason Janie was there for so many hours, because I think she drove up and down wherever Daniel left tracks that night from the ATV. Maybe even going further. They wanted to make it impossible for police. They should have let nobody go out there and immediately secured the tire tracks from that night. Daniel wanted to return there, and I think Janie, using the same ATV, possibly, that he used that night, drove over it again and again and again. That's why you don't let suspects or persons of interest into an extended crime scene area. This is why. And this is how they gotten away with it. Now let's listen and remember, guys, she was out there and gets the call from Malaya. Malaya could have said, we found the kids. Search is over. Thank you for everything. Pack it up, come. Or she could have said, they found the children, but they're no longer alive. That's also very, very possible, people. Very possible. Either way, if Janie didn't have a clue what took place that night, she would have loved to take the call, to hear the news, and be able to say, well, you know what? I am done searching now. Thank you. Success. We got it. We found the children. Whatever condition they were in, we found them. The search is over now. You see what I mean? But what does Janie do?
Malaya called me on my phone.
Where else would she call you, dude? A lot of unnecessary language here to sidetrack. Not mentioning the pipeline as much as Mattison West Road.
She called me at 3:32. I didn't
3:32 p.m.
answer because we were talking to a lady.
I didn't answer. She feels the need to tell us why. That's not the reason, people. That is not the reason. She didn't answer because A, she didn't want to talk to Malaya, and B, even if they found the children, even if they found the bodies, even if, she had to still make sure she drove up and down. So the police, if they ever went back to the pipeline, and they did, they finally caught on, right? It took them, 20 days to finally get camera footage from the neighbors? How long did it take for them to return to the pipeline? After they had a lot of downtime, sat around, had coffee together, and all of a sudden somebody had an energy burst and said, dude, why were they all at the pipeline? Oh shit, let's go back there. Suddenly, the coin finally fell. There was a blanket, a boot print, and we heard a pink sock. Do we know whom the pink sock belonged to, by the way? Do we know that? Do we? I haven't seen any confirmation here. Okay, that's Zach's channel. I will check it out later. Zach Jackson. Let me see what you got here. I will check it later. I will check whatever I think. Hi, Brandy. So this is what I talked about earlier, and I actually feel like repeating because finally people start to come. What the hell, man? Where were you? Oh, crap. Should I do this again? One moment. One moment. Because I don't want people to later on message me and tell me that they haven't gotten it. Avoidances are very important, and avoidances are not only linguistic, guys. Not only linguistic.
Stop waiting and start dating. Are you hoping to meet singles in Japan?
What? Okay. First, there's Scott Peterson, okay? His wife is missing. He should be waiting for a call that she's been found or anything, but...
Called it a pack of lies, not knowing that she was in there, so it's just not important to comment about that. I'm glad that Amber came forward. I'm going to turn that
His phone is ringing off a storm.
And I'll just answer that question again. Somewhere here. Yeah, it's kind of going crazy, isn't it?
Look at this asshole.
Okay.
Okay. He's coming back. He didn't even look who the phone call was from, right? His wife was missing, his pregnant wife. You would have jumped to this phone. Okay, this is him. Then I was talking about Sebastian Rogers. An interview with the Proudfoots. Okay. Here we go, guys.
When you panicked, what did you do?
First thing I did was call my husband, and I said, he's not here. My husband said, what do you mean he's not here? I said, he's not in the house.
The hardest part about listening for any footage from the Proudfoots is that I want to interrupt every 2 seconds because it's so red flaggery. But let's just get... Nah, don't make me close my window. Okay, who gives a shit? Here.
House. And he said, immediately just...
Okay, wait a minute. I need to be comfortable for this. Like Daniel at the polygraph. So, Let's go back. Oh, finally people are watching. That's why. My window? The window was open. That's what the problem is. What kind of name is Proudfoot? I think Scottish. I thought it was native, but I think it's actually a Scottish name. Okay. Yeah, I thought so too, but I think it's Scottish. Proudfoot is Scottish. Who knows? He may be both. No clue. Okay, so we saw Scott Peterson. Now we see this.
Started, did you check here? Did you check there? Did you look here? And I ran through the house, and at that point I was hysterical, for lack of a word. And we three-wayed the police, and
If your son is missing and the dog is at the door, as I assume, going crazy, wouldn't you run to the door to see if Sebastian is back? Now, mind you, of course, you are being interviewed by the national media. Not unimportant, right? Somewhat significant, I understand. However, the reason for everything is your child who's missing. Wouldn't you run up there? Wouldn't you make sure that you don't miss Sebastian if he's there? Wouldn't you make sure of that?
within minutes they were here. I couldn't tell you exactly how long. I know it was fast. And we haven't found him.
When I got the phone call that he was missing.
When you panic.
So what I think happened, finally, probably they gotten the dog somewhere else because he made noise. But they didn't jump up. They say, shh. These are very important so-called little things. Carla, where was CPS today? Not CPS, RCMP. Just the rumor. Where did the rumor come from? Look at the source. What is the source? If that is true, I want to know about it. But if it's only from so-called from a channel that has already lied to us, then I don't, you know what I mean? We need to know, because we need to give people the opportunity to either dismiss it immediately until further notice. Yes, apparently someone texted that info to Kent. No, I don't trust Kent. Well, maybe it happened. I don't know. They can say anything. Is he friends with Durwood and Daniel? So that's why I think it's very important when there is a rumor that we know who it comes from, because then, even if we figure out that it didn't happen, we would also be able to detect intention in the person who starts the rumor. So the rumor can be started from people who want to get attention. It can also be from people who want to sidetrack. So the important thing to me is always like, no matter, okay, who said it? Then, okay, confirm it with a few locals. That'd be great. but do it quickly and independently so they cannot first all meet together and say, let's agree on the same narrative, right? You always have to be very, very fast if you have access to them and tell them, okay, yeah, I know he is Brandy and close to them, lives in the community. You think he's going to go against them and live there in such a small and close-knit community? See, these things are all very important in order for us to evaluate. Very important. Even false information can give us good information if within it we detect deception or certain intentions. Why are you shy? Don't be shy. If you believe in what you do, go for it. Well, you don't have to. But you see, when I know something that I'm on the right track, and I realize a lot of people are not, yes, my video yesterday caused some panic. I know that. I already know that. So it's a damage control thing. So maybe they want us to think police is already on it. Don't worry about it. And then they're going to. By the way, why did Drunk Turkey get the documents so early? Did Daniel get them very early? There's something happening within the RCMP, from what I have come to understand, that seems very shady to me. Very shady, right? That certain people who are directly involved or who are related, who should know about Jack and Lily, didn't get the documents until much later. And certain channels are being fed information, in my opinion, before even family members get the information when it comes to the documents. And I believe that they have no interest in being examined further. And I said it already. You know, I said before, there's a reason Cody was mentioned in the news article. And again, if I'm the only one shining a light, so be it. As long as enough people are watching me, to where the right people are going out there and making enough of an impact. Let me read your comments. So yes, Carla, in this case, it's very interesting, but that's why it's always important to mention where the rumor came from, right? Because all of us will be able to put it very quickly into the right context. By the way, I hope you can see my plaids up there with taglines, so I'll make it nicer soon. So even if it's a misleading rumor, it can give us information. He has what? The Coca-Cola problem? Yeah, there's a constable with the surname McKenzie. He was in the document drop, right? Could be an extended family member. Wow. Thank you for bringing all of this my way, guys. So I wouldn't be surprised that they're starting a rumor to make it seem like police is doing something they're actually not doing. So I don't believe police was there necessarily. But even when they were not, it is very, very helpful to know who comes up with the rumor, who states it. then we are able to see why. But anything from Crime and Shame channel, too much had to be. I had to get back like the locations of the blanket, all of this. Was it a footprint, a boot print? It is too iffy, right? They don't have an eye for detail. She doesn't. And I already realized it when I saw how she published these private messages, and they were all over the place. They didn't, they were not in the right order and all of that stuff. So I rather not get something that is just thrown out there like garbage, and then I have to sort through it. And later on, you know what I mean? So I sometimes prefer missing good information to wasting 30 minutes of my time, or having to go back to something and say, oops, I was wrong. Not because I did it wrong, but because, well, I didn't do my due diligence and accepted something at face value. So I wouldn't trust anything that's brought out from the channel until you have the source. When you have the source, you can check it yourself. And if it's a dead end, ignore it, disregard it, right? If it's not being confirmed, disregard it completely. But if somebody reveals intentions to sell it as a fact and it isn't so, that needs to be noted, because then it can lead us to somebody who is more in the know than we have previously recognized.
On her four-wheeler with a child.
So 3:32, the phone call came in, and she didn't answer it because she was talking to a lady on her four-wheeler with a child. I bet you it was a very short conversation. But this is the excuse she picks because she doesn't want you to know what she was busy with for how long?
Then she called me back at 5:39.
So she didn't even call Malaya back. More than 2 hours later, Malaya called back. You mean you've been on the four-wheeler? This is a child. You think that woman had the child on the four-wheeler for 2 hours? Because she wanted to yap to Janie? No. That was probably a couple of minutes, and she was right back, driving up and down the pipeline. They all knew what to look for. The pipeline boys, Janie and Justin, they all knew what their mission was.
I answered the phone. She told me to get back here to the trailer. I said, what's up? She said, I can't.
She said, what's up? Did you find Jack and Lily? That would be my question. Did you find them? The first time. And if I'm talking to a woman with a child on an ATV, I'd say, one moment, please. Yes, Malaya, what's up? Any news? Even if you don't really care about Jack and Lily, which of course she didn't, still, you would want to know what is the news. If something came through, they say, we found Jack and Lily, alive or not. Because then you would know. We can go home and the search is over. There would be no longer any need for you to be there. You wouldn't spend more than 2 hours out there without knowing if something had come up. Even if they were found far away, no longer alive. Janie still wanted to make sure that she removed all of the evidence that Daniel left behind that night. She knew exactly what happened. And that's it, people. Of course he's reading chats. And he used to comment here too before he was taken in by Crime and Shame, and they gave him a, of course. They all are. I believe one of you actually hid his comments because they gotten so you wouldn't be able to see what he writes because it was well, I have to talk to whoever did this, what moderator did it, but I don't interfere with moderators, by the way. I'm the opposite of micromanager. They're doing a better job than I could have to keep this tight and intact, right? So I'm assuming, and I told everybody, so if somebody comes in here, blatantly tries to mislead, right? I don't want these comments. If somebody keeps bringing in rumors from Clutch and Purse or something like that, and Jack and Lily were just seen in New Brunswick, and then it always, no, I'm like, please, I don't want this shit. So you know what I mean? People make mistakes all the time, but I'm talking about people who have, you click on previous comments and all of them are misleading. Then I'm like, I don't want my new members to get them. I want the comments. It means it overshadows the important comments, and the comment section and the chat are the most important part here, where people can fill in my blanks. I will keep people on the right track and lead them down the right track. But then it's up to all of you to do what you do. And many times it's one of you pointing out something I didn't know or recognize. Thank you. I do have the best moderators. I absolutely agree. Absolutely. Krista, thank you. I absolutely agree, people. And again, that's why I don't get involved. I trust their judgment more than mine many times. Many times. Usually. But it is what I have to do to keep my mind clear. Because if I worry about stuff that's not important, I will myself not recognize. I will not recognize important things. There were many things when I examined Logan's interview the first time I missed. I completely missed because I was listening to a bunch of horse shit, hoping to get to the gold. And I realized then when it was D-Day, I had to listen. I missed very, very, very important parts of the segment. So what I do, I have to disconnect, guys. I have to, even if it's AB or if it's Ninchi or whatever, even if I have to at times when people, even I said it about Joseph Morris, you know, he may have a 15-minute video. The first 10 minutes, it's factual. The last 5 minutes, he says, well, maybe they took them to the, I can't. I have to immediately shut off because I already detected the high levels of deception and the intention. And the intention was to mislead people and sidetrack. So I don't have to listen to the rest. You know what I mean? And I don't believe that he has the intention to mislead people, but I think he listened to the wrong people. He paid attention to the wrong things. And when you hear a lie too many times and you see comments from people who also believe that lie, most people, not everybody, I would say 80% of the population, they will start to buy into it. Even when the RCMP when the journalist gets this bullshit thing published that there are no suspects, it's not criminal, that eventually the general public is going to start believing this is just one of those things. Me and my friends were always goofing on, it's just one of those things. It's when people ignore important things, they shut their minds off and they say, well, we need to trust the police and we need to trust the news and they wouldn't lie to us. And, you know, who are we? And we don't know anything. And no. We know a lot, actually. Not the general public, but we do. And we cannot be shaken by that. The truth is everything. There's only one truth, guys. Yes, thank you. There's only one truth. There's not my truth or your truth. No. Then when somebody says, well, this is my truth, then, you know, recognize there may be a chance that this person could be full of shit. Agree to disagree. No, fuck no. Don't agree to tell me what's up. What am I doing wrong? What am I missing? Point it out, people. Point it out. Well, it's your opinion. What? What the fuck are you talking about, my opinion? These are my thoughts. Well, I like your theory. No, it's not a theory. I'm throwing out a possibility, guys. Let me see, Adam. It helps to ask what the intention of misinformation. That's what made me suspicious of their word. Absolutely. And that's some, intention I recognize. Usually I recognize it towards the end. Okay. Usually. Sensitivities come first. And sensitivity means, okay, something is wrong with the sentence. Why does Daniel talk about, I looked everywhere, all the culverts, or this is not necessary. Why is this is a sensitivity. I cannot pressure myself to make a quick conclusion because that will lead to theories. Theories are different than possibilities. Theories means you already fill in the blanks. And it causes confirmation bias. It can cause confirmation bias, where you have people's theories, they argue their theories against other people and their theories, right? And everybody's wrong in some aspect, and everybody's right in some aspect, but they don't come together to bring the information together to make the big picture clearer. And that's why I say to you guys, if you feel like arguing, go to Clutch Them Pearls. That's good. All day you can argue. Go to dilution. All day. Any trash that you want to write, it's going to be okay. As long as you don't insult somebody that was a guest on their show, it's going to be okay. But I want to learn, and I say, what's the source? Why do you think that? Well, Clutch Them Pearls said that. Now, shut up. Don't tell me what anybody else said. Tell me why you think this is a possibility. What we're looking at are the possibilities. And I give them a grade from 1 to 10, from 0 to 10. 0 means, of course, not possible. I don't care how many people talk about it. Not criminal, 0, not possible, not possible. Cody a suspect, 0, not possible. 10 would mean we know for sure, 100%. We don't have to be a 10, but we look at the different possibilities, right? Is there a possibility he went west to the Fundy Basin? I give it a 2 or a 3. If that, let's say a 2. Up north, 8. 8. Minimum 8. So when somebody says, well, your theory, no, never interpret what I say other than, repeat what I say. You can do that. I don't have a theory. I don't do theories. I look at the possibilities and I'm very flexible with those. So I never feel the need to defend it. I have thoughts, not opinions. Opinions get formed. I have thoughts. I explain them. I also am my own worst critic. I ask people, what do you think about that? Please bring it to me. Does anything that I said to you make not complete sense to you? Right? When it comes to the rules of statement analysis, and by the way, not all of them are perfect, the rules. Not all of them. There are a few people who came up with it or started, and it's, by the way, it's not really something somebody created or invented. It's simply our ability to listen. I listen to Janie right now. So I don't have a Ouija board. I don't summon my dead ancestors and ask them if they saw what Daniel did that night. I listen to them. And I can do that because I don't jump around and listen to everybody who has a cover picture saying remains found or Daniel has been cleared, because I'm immune to it. And I get the emails, and I appreciate when people make me, alert me of what other people are listening to right now, because it explains the confusion. But then I also say, you know what? Don't bring this garbage here. You know what I mean? Because I want to learn from my chat, from the comments. I want to see what I have been missing. The track, the path is what matters, people. The path always leads to the truth. But if somebody willfully sidetracks, comes up with fabrications, I will look closer at them. and I will look at the intention. And Janie told us that day she hadn't known who Durwood was. He walked in with Daniel. They all sat down together. And her statement revealed to me they were all fabricating together. They came up with a plan. Kent had already been in my chat before. Kent was here first. Then Durwood started showing up. Durwood was plan A. Durwood, maybe Kent was plan A. Maybe Durwood plan B. Durwood said, I'll do it. And I'm good at it. I'm good at bullshitting people. That's exactly what I believe happened. So when Dali Vision said, well, I cannot do the accent. Well, with you, I want on people thinking now because maybe Daniel. I cannot do the accent, man. No, Durwood wasn't wrong because of false information from Daniel. Durwood, Daniel, and Janie together came up with a strategy. And it was a very stupid one that a lot of people had fallen for. A lot of people. But that's the 80% I'm talking about, guys. Now, of course, the percentage is a lot smaller among the people who listen to my channel. A lot smaller. Once in a while, I get the stupid comments on the Sebastian Rogers videos like, well, he never made it home. And Katie gave something to green hoodie and yellow coat. And listen, look, Sebastian looked up. He looked at somebody who walked in. That is a signal. That's when he was abducted. Bullshit. You know what I mean? That's what I'm always scared about when I make Sebastian videos, because it's the idiotic comments, and they are not comments through thought. They're comments through confirmation bias, because these people are on Twitter in a comment. And by the way, Nick, he made me moderator in his group when he started it, but that changed very quickly when he realized that I do not compromise and I do not adapt any narrative that I don't stand behind, right? But they give each other, they encourage each other with the same lies again and again, and they all believe it. And I said many times, please show me the screenshot. Where does Katie hand something to a person outside of the text? All of a sudden, they all have technical difficulties, even when they put together some great videos here and there. Hi, Barbara. Everyone is sorry here late, and yeah, you know what? And again, I do my presentations when I get them. Many times I was waiting for more information regarding properties owned by these people, and I couldn't get it in time, right? But I said, you know what? I have enough that I need to present right now. Because as soon as I get the additional information, I will move right ahead. And I want nothing to be lost. Absolutely nothing. And once my mind goes forward, I don't like to revisit other things. So I want to make sure all of this is out on video already, because the worst thing for me is when I plan. And during the day, I do other things, and it's on my mind and then I try to remember what was on my mind during the day, right? So I don't care if I wake up at 4 a.m. If it's on my mind, and I got to get it out there when it comes to me. It's very important to me, people, very important. So that woman, her reply to Malaya, you guys doing okay? When you're getting tired, let me know. But now I have more, oh my God. Yes, I want to mention your name who just messaged me. Yes, find out about the vehicle, the 5-speed car. Absolutely, please. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. If you send me a lot of maybes, well, I will. Sometimes I look through the maybes, but sometimes I do not. You know what I mean? And now Lauren has sent me the whole interview Now I'm tempted to share it, this thing again with Scott Peterson, but she did so well of a job, man. I don't want to jump around. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Shit. Timing is everything, I know. But
included the report of Amber. So I called it a pack of lies, not knowing that she was in there. So it's just not important to comment about that. And I'm glad that Amber came forward. I'm going to turn that off.
Yeah, what is that?
That's my phone, unfortunately. I thought it was off. And I'll just answer that question again. It's weird. Yeah, it's kind of going crazy, isn't it?
CB, yes. I mean, theories, stories, or opinions, no. And you know what? There are many times we have researchers. Okay, they are theorists and they are researchers. You got it? Okay. Many times actual researchers are called theorists because it is an actual attempt to minimize what they're doing, to discredit somebody. Also, when you did a lot of research, you present it, and somebody will say that's your opinion. That is also an attempt to discredit you. They don't want to address what you have already researched, right? But they say, you're only a theorist. This is only your opinion. And when it comes to stories, you know, I don't need to see this again, by the way. When it comes to stories, you know, when recently in an interview, what's her name? Sherry Papini. I was going to watch it. The first thing she says, I want to give you my side of the story. I already knew it's going to be bullshit. There's nothing I'm going to learn from that. You know? We know what happened. She's only going to try to get you to like her, feel sorry for her, or understand her position. Or maybe, yes, I'm also on Facebook, guys. Same name, same profile picture. And I'm only me. So, you know, when I already knew, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sit through somebody only. I already know her intentions through this one sentence in the very beginning, right? So, no, I'm not going to waste my time watching any of it. This again, I want to see if she points something out. How did they know it wasn't Sebastian outside? That's exactly what I was trying to get to.
So here's what's unusual. Scott decides to call Lacey's mother. Doesn't say, have you spoken to Lacey today? Do you know where she is? He says, Lacey is missing.
There was a text message from the stepfather. Call me, it's 911. And I called him, and he told me that my son was missing.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They didn't ask, is Sebastian with you? There's zero curiosity what happened to Lacey, zero curiosity what happened to Sebastian. There's zero curiosity from Janie what Malaya is talking about, what she's calling her about, what she's calling her about. Zero, because she already knows what happened to Jack and Lily.
After that, it was a conscious decision to remain out of the media eye, decided upon by everyone in the family and the volunteers.
The parents, myself, Katie, and Seth, all decided, we made a pact in the beginning, hey.
Yeah, puts himself together with the innocent parent who's Seth.
If we're going to do this, we're going to keep each other in the loop. We're going to talk to each other and ask. We're not just going to go out here and do our own thing.
And then I'd go out and put up flyers. I knew exactly what to do, and that was going to bring Lacey home. And now I don't know exactly what to do, and that's so frustrating. That's the hardest part.
Yeah, their own emotions frustrating to him. Not a good sign, people.
More than your routine's what it is, and you know it, right? Now wake up when this happens, and you can't figure out what to do.
Yep, they always don't know what to do. Because you will focus on what you can do if your children are missing. Putting Lacey's photo out there. I
mean, we have a core group of volunteers still working to get her picture out there nationally. We continue to work tirelessly.
Because she wouldn't be recognizable in the state that she was in at the time.
People do to bring her home.
I think that the more people that know.
And there's no threat to putting up flyers. Remember, Kent is putting up all the flyers? So, there is no threat when you know the state that the people are in right now. The flyers they don't look like what they did on the flyers. There's no more threat out there.
Know his face, the more likely it is that if he is out somewhere, that more likely someone will actually recognize him and be able to call and we can bring him home.
To sidetrack, it keeps people focused on the physical task. Remember, look everywhere. Check your backyard every single day. Get busy putting up flyers. It gets people worn out, and they will not look at them anymore. They will no longer look in the right direction. People like that want the tips lines to be called with BS tips. They want that. They want people to put up flyers because they know the children are no longer with us and cannot be found or identified through the flyers. Yeah. No one who saw the flyers and yep, far away. And that's exactly what had happened with Scott Peterson. So we need to look at the ocean area. We need to look at the direction that Daniel went that night. And yes, old pictures of Sebastian, absolutely. What is that, the liar's number? Wait. Yeah. Scott, Chris Watson, Katie,
You haven't been in the media.
No. It was the first 3 days or so.
And not every time the number 3 is mentioned means that somebody's lying. Sometimes you wake up at 3. Sometimes you have 3 friends with you. Sometimes, you know what I mean? But statistically speaking, the number 3 is used a lot more when there's actually deception. Sweet dreams are made of these. Yeah, I'll get a copyright thing probably for that and have to get rid of this. Jeez.
I called her 3 times, texted her about 3 times just to say,
Stop. 3 minutes in, give or take.
Yeah. Fabrications.
Probably at least 3 years ago.
She's amazing. She is amazing.
She was amazing. She is amazing. The need to correct himself has to be noted.
That's why I'm sitting down with you, in hopes that people will go, you know what?
The need to explain why he's sitting with you.
If I think he had some involvement, if I don't think he had some involvement, that doesn't matter, because Lacey is what matters.
Everybody is formulating their idea of what's going on, and who's guilty and who's not guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting to go into areas that investigators have asked me not to comment about.
There are certain things that we are not and have been told by law enforcement, do not get into specifics because it could jeopardize the investigation.
Investigators on both sides, law enforcement and private, have asked me not to comment any more about times.
I was home. I can't give exact dates. Law enforcement has told me not to provide exact dates.
So there is no possible evidence there.
And absolutely zero evidence.
Zero evidence. Daniel said hardly any.
I know that I wasn't going to turn the monitor
I know.
on. No, I wasn't going to kiss him to bed tonight.
It had nothing to do with Lacey's disappearance.
No. I know I didn't do it. It's not the same like I didn't do it. It's a huge, huge red flag, people. Did you hurt your children? I know I didn't do it. A huge red flag. So, last thing, I will go back to Janie. Okay. Now I got sidetracked. Okay. Let's get back to this.
Can't tell you over the phone. So I came back here. Me and Justin came back here to the trailer.
Me and Justin. Okay.
Marlea was standing on the edge of the driveway.
She's always talking about where she saw Malaya standing there. Malaya was standing a lot. Malaya was the front person. Malaya was like the singer of the band, if you will. She was the contact person for police. They wanted her to take care of that. She had to hold down the fort, keep them busy. They were busy removing evidence. That was their intention. That was their only focus. Yep, focus on Malaya. And that's why they were so angry when Malaya left, because she was supposed to continue playing that role. And all of a sudden it had to be Daniel. And they wanted as many people there as possible to keep driving and walking down there. That's why they haven't been able to really get good tracks. One more thing.
Crying her
Where was Daniel?
eyes out. I went up and I put my arms around her and I said, please don't tell me that they found the kids dead.
That's what came to her mind. Because she knows that this is the condition the children are in. And the only thing, the only possibility that she could think of That's the only thing she was concerned about. They could have found them, but even if they had found the children's bodies, still, she wanted to make sure the evidence is not going to be visible at the pipeline area. Please don't tell me they found the kids dead.
Haley?
And now it goes back to Haley. So, unless there's something else, guys, that you can think of, and please take a minute to ask questions that you have on your mind right now. Any question that you may have on your mind or anything that you think I may have missed, I would like for you to point this out. Again, like whatever comes your way, feel free to look for the sources, look at the sources, highlight the sources and bring them my way. It's an average pick. Yeah, anything. I think Justin knows so much. Justin was there to help his family, but doesn't feel good about what he did, in my opinion. And, well, who knows? Justin one day may come forward. You know what I mean? I believe Belinda when she said he cried real tears. I think what he saw that night in the aftermath of what took place may have really, really shocked him. But he was not involved in what caused the children to be no longer with us. He's probably confused. On the one hand, that's his family. But I think he was really, really shocked, man. And I believe he's living a better life than all of them. I think he's more together. He's got much more of a, his feet on the ground. And, he came from there, but I believe he's doing all right. Logan is doing better than them, but she's still a dumbass, who actually sometimes people like that think they're really, really smart because they're smarter than the people they grew up with. So even if the people that she grew up with are, so suddenly an average or a little below average IQ can make them feel like a genius if the people that they grew up with are way below average, right? And that can suddenly give them the confidence to go on there and talk and leak, which can be a very, very good thing. People like Logan actually leaked so much. Now I sent message to the wrong people. The wrong message to the wrong person. Jesus Christ, it means I need to... Oh God. It's embarrassing. I do it all the time. Do this all the time, by the way. Sending the wrong message to the wrong people. Gee. Because your messages are similar. Okay. So, Janie talked about Daniel talking too much, but Daniel didn't tell us he was at the pipeline. Janie did that. You can thank your dumbass mama, because she is the one through whom I know you were at the pipeline all day long and only there. Daniel practiced avoidance. He used everywhere. When somebody says everywhere, that indicates oftentimes nowhere. When Katie Proudfoot talked about, I looked all over the house. She didn't look anywhere. She woke up at 6. At 6:03, she was already on the phone with Chris. She was already ready for the authorities. That's why she said in 1 minute flat she did all of that, because she had to cram, looking through the whole house, looking out of every window, into 1 minute. Because we know at 6:03, she got up at 6, at 6:03, she was already on the phone. I tell you what happened. She woke up at 6, she went to the bathroom, she grabbed her phone, and she called Chris. And because she was so stressed, it seemed like a long time for her. She could not wait. And she needed Chris. Chris is the calming force to her chaotic mind. Malaya was the calming force, maybe. Well, force is the wrong word in her case, right? But he definitely doesn't, he likes somebody with a more gentle nature. He doesn't need another Janie in his life. Yeah, there's more I'm going to read about in the docu. Hey guys, if you notice anything, just delete it. What can I delete? Wait, let me look back up. Oh, the wrong message. For some reason, I could only delete it for myself. So I gotta do this stupid follow-up. Sorry, wrong person. Yeah, he's the only one doing anything for Jack and Lily. Well, he compared himself to Malaya here. He does it all the time. He's using her because they're angry. Malaya was no longer there to hold down the fort. See, that was Malaya's role. You failed to keep the kids quiet. It all happened because of you. I'm pretty sure Janie told us something very, very similar. If it wasn't for you being such a crappy mother, Daniel wouldn't have had to be the one disciplining them. Therefore, what happened was your fault. And I don't know if one day Malaya will wake up and say, I can't believe I allowed this to happen. I don't know. Yeah, I do it all the time. That's why I need to take my time when I do something, man. And I'm very fast when I process things because I don't allow myself to get sidetracked, usually. I'm very adamant about that. That I don't want to, adamant about that. I want to make sure that I stay on my path. You know what I mean? So the question remains, what happened? What did they do with the bodies? That's a very important question, people. That's what we need to stay on. We cannot let it move us away from that. Because the general public now is like, well, maybe it wasn't, maybe we were too harsh on Daniel. I see these comments all over the place, man. When you look at like a YouTube channel of CBC or whatever it's called, whatever the channel, or CBN, or what is it? Canada Broadcasting News. And, people already, people even make comments like, well, I'm so sorry, Daniel, we were so harsh on you. Oh my God. It's like these so-called pro-burgers, just waiting for the fan club for Emmanuel Harrow's father to come up. But this is what we have to deal with. That's why it's important for me always to make sure that my comment section is not, that, please, Anyhow, anywho, I will read some of your comments, and then when I see it, everybody's wearing out, so will I. Double tip your screen if you already haven't. Double tap your. Oh yeah. Daniel and Proudfoot. I'm sure through my channel they already know what the case is about. But they're using a very similar approach to sidetrack people away. And that's very, very easy. Wow. Okay, guys, I think it's very, very late. CBC, let me see it there. I think this is it for now. And so I appreciate all of you and your comments, and I appreciate very much when you send me information. You see, now another life is over, and now they're coming. It's late, people. Tell us what you learned somewhere else. But don't say so-and-so said it. Please, those are not the comments I'm searching for. Or this person thinks. I want to know what you think. What do you think? Hi, all. How do you say your name? All wrote it? What? I cannot read. Where were you, dude? Where have you been? Justify yourself. Yeah, I'm saying good night now. I'm sorry you just came. Where? Do you have the notification bell? Or were you busy? Oh, do that. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm so sorry. I cannot tell. Wow. Nice to meet you. I think, well, according to YouTube, it's 90% female here on my channel. Or 87.8 or something like that. 87.8%. But some of the females actually also have male sounding user IDs. And I thank you guys. Thank you, moderators. I thank all of you very much. Please, well, I don't want to give out my email anymore because I get so much horse shit there from new trolls. I prefer Facebook because I leave voice messages very easily. And sometimes I am, I can always have my phone with me and my headset and listen to the voice messages. But email is imfiretown@gmail.com. And I wish you all a good night. Thank you. That's it. No song. Very anticlimactic, right? No cliffhanger. I'm working on stuff. It's gonna be good. God bless everybody. Thank you for watching.